5 years ago, in the earliest days of Action Retro, we found a crazy looking modified compact Macintosh on Craigslist. It was painted jet black, it had a blue CD-ROM drive and a jazz drive hacked into the front of it. And since then, things have gotten a bit out of hand. It's the Macintosh enthusiast, so stay tuned. And if you enjoy extreme, full-contact retro computing, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. The Cursed Mac, as it came to be known, was the first really big project here on the channel. If you were here back in the day and you remember why we call this thing the Cursed Mac, leave a comment down below. And over the years, I've made it a mission to try to put as many upgrades as physically possible into the Cursed Mac to make it the most extreme version of that original creator's vision. And at this point, it's a bit up in the air as to whether this is even the same computer that we started with. Just like the ship of Theseus, I've replaced almost every single component in this thing at least once. Now, before we actually tear this open and take the guts out, let me give you a little walk around tour because the quirks really start on the outside. Please ignore the Windows 11 badge. This is a Mac Effects clear case, which gives a beautiful view into the interior of the machine and all of the shenanigans that lurk inside. The original Cursed Mac had an optical drive, and this is no different, only I've gone for a slot loading drive. And around the back here, you can see we have a power supply, which is not as it seems, the standard array of ports for a Macintosh SE30, as well as a USB port, which is power only for your USB powered speakers, as well as Ethernet, and a port that isn't connected, which could be video out. The screen on this thing is one of the few original remaining components with a nice little bit of burn-in. We pair this with the only reasonable keyboard for it, a Next ADB keyboard, because that's hilarious. And I still have the original painted black and blue mouse that came with the machine. As a sanity check, let's give this a quick power on and make sure it still works. Oh yeah, it sure does. Why yes, that is a grayscale display. And here we are booted into macOS 8.1, a completely unreasonable operating system for this computer, 128 megs of RAM. Let's make sure the dual CPUs still work. Yes, that's right, dual CPUs, which both appear to work. More on that later. I do believe we have ourselves a working computer. Let's tear it apart, because oh boy, do some surprises lurk within. Right after this quick word about today's really relevant sponsor, the RZen Boom Mini HD projector. Do you like watching things? Would you like those things to be gigantic? The RZen Boom Mini is an immersive HD streaming projector that can make all of those dreams come true. It offers an incredible experience for an incredible value. Not only does the Boom Mini have built-in Google TV, which gives you access to 10,000 plus apps like Netflix, Disney Plus, and YouTube, but the best thing about it, 20-watt Dolby audio speakers, and they really pack a punch. I've been using my Boom Mini primarily for gaming. Plugging my gaming computer into the HDMI port gives me an enormous and immersive Oblivion Remastered, 500 ANSI lumens worth of majestic Cyrodiil. It's super compact, lightweight, and having everything built into the same chassis, you don't need to hook up speakers or a Chromecast or anything. Just point it at a surface and turn it on. There is a super smooth 110-degree tilting gimbal stand, which allows smooth projection, even up on the ceiling. It even has super easy real-time autofocus and keystone correction. I can move this thing around while it's on, and it will, in real time, adjust the picture and focus so it's always straight and crisp. So if you happen to be in the market for a good projector, check out the RZen Boom Mini. I honestly love mine, and I think you will too. Link down in my description below. So this thing is a little bit of a project to take apart. And the only things remaining in the chassis are the upgraded wiring harness to support the grayscale video card, our slot loading Procom CD-ROM drive, an aftermarket power supply that handles the hefty power requirements of all this weird stuff in here, brand new capacitors on the analog board of course, and just a bit of tasteful RGB lighting. Boy, that's a lot of gubbins for one classic Macintosh. I think my proudest retro computing achievement is building up this SE30 Reloaded board, which of course didn't work when I first did it, but I took it to Steve from Mac84 who helped me fix it, creatively. Is that a multimeter?
Yes. Can you put this in one nostril and I'll put this in mine? And
Yeah.
these noises are not encouraging.
What's all this stuff?
This computer stuff. Now this is not with your processor, but let's see if this helps. Are you kidding me?
Ah, good lord. And now this thing boots and runs just fine. It handles the 128 megs of RAM just fine, and the Garrett's Workshop ROM ensures that it is fully 32-bit compliant. Plus, just look how cool it is in black. And into this board we have the Zigzag Joe Booster 50, which is a 50 megahertz 68030 CPU and FPU, which doesn't need any weird tricks to run. You just plug it into the CPU socket, and now it's a 50 megahertz board instead of 16. Oh, but our upgrades don't end there. This is a Bullmac Carrera 040 clone with cache card, which has a 68040 CPU. We can swap between the 040 and that 50 megahertz 030 on the fly in software. We also have the Bull PDS Riser, which not only gives us a cache slot that we can plug our card into, but gives us built-in Ethernet as well. But wait, there's more. This is the 30 Video GS, a custom-built grayscale card, also from Zigzag Joe, which lets us output grayscale to the monochrome display on the SE30, which stacks right on top of this PDS slot. And in conjunction with this new neck board, yeah, that gives us grayscale video. In fact, we could stack yet another card on top of this tower of jank and have 2 video cards in this thing. We're only limited by space inside the machine. And to top it all off, our overclocked Blue Scuzzy 2, which we are booting from. I mean, the community around vintage Macintosh stuff these days is just absolutely incredible. And the stuff these mad geniuses can come up with, man. All right, so the main reason I wanted to take this thing all the way back apart today, well, aside from reminiscing about how much fun it was to build, was because I want to be able to access this SD card from the outside. Currently, I have this mounted in here like this, which means we have to take it all the way apart to fish it out. So I got one of these extender deals. Originally, I thought maybe I'd put it like right here and then Dremel another hole out in the front. I mean, I did a half-decent job with the optical drive opening, but you know, I really don't like the boot drive being a removable device out of the front face of the machine. So instead, I think I want to run it out the back and stick it to the back of the case. Let's start reassembling this thing and at some point figure out how we can snake this out the back. Everything in here has a very particular order that it wants to go back together in. All right, here's what I'm going to try on this thing. I'm going to snake this underneath the bracket here. And with some high quality double-sided tape, this can go right like that. And then to get this out the back, I think I'm going to sneak it out this bracket here, because this bracket is exposed. Undo this. All right, you can go through here. Oh yeah, that's nice and janky. Look at that. And then this bracket mounts just like this. And this video card is a little bit too close to where the flyback connects for comfort, so we'll just use some professional grade shielding. Alright, video card to power, a little bit of cable management, get in there. SD card connected, plug into power, goofy keyboard and mouse. Alright, what do you think the odds are that I actually remember to plug everything back in? Let's find out. There it goes, booting from the extender. Alright, let's get you buttoned back up. There we go. And how many screws are we putting in? Just one. Now I can just kind of feed this cable back in. A little bit of Velcro on here. Look at that. Classy. So what can we actually do with extremely overpowered but still based in 1980s technology? One of the really cool things that we can do is use a website called the Infinite Macintosh to build a disk image that we can load games on straight from the Macintosh garden, export that disk image, pop it onto the blue SCSI SD card, and then it shows up right here as saved HD. Look at that. And using that method, you can put really any game or software ever released for the Macintosh onto your real hardware, and, well, we can just play Ultimate Doom. Of course, we have to play it in a tiny postage stamp window. I mean, it will go bigger, but you do lose a bit of performance. Oh yeah, look at that. You can really see those screen paints. I really wanted to play Wolfenstein 3D on here because it's my favorite game of all time. Unfortunately, there's some sort of check built in for color-capable monitors, which is ridiculous. I mean, you could play Wolfenstein in grayscale. We just played Ultimate Doom in grayscale. Why on earth did they put that check in there? But check this out. We have a program called GBMac and a totally legitimate dump from my own copy of Pokemon Red. Oh, we can play Pokemon on the Mac. Up the volume a bit here. Oh, this is awesome. This runs pretty well, too. Look at that. We're playing Pokemon on a 68K Macintosh. I never thought I would get a Game Boy emulator that works on 68K Macintosh. Oh, so good. So that is the current state of the cursed Mac, the oldest and longest running project here on Action Retro. And now that we have access to the overclocked blue SCSI from the outside, it also might be the most convenient Mac that I own. And if you want to see this thing in person, I am bringing it to Vintage Computer Festival Southeast / Southern Fried Gaming Expo, and I'm also playing there with my band, the Stop Bits. So if you're anywhere near Atlanta, Georgia, make sure to check it out. I'll put a link down in the description below. In any event, that'll do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more weird computers like this, please subscribe down below. And thank you very much for watching. And I just want to give a very special thank you to all of my Patreon supporters and channel members. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for supporting me and supporting this channel and all the weird stuff I do. I am so very grateful, and I just could not do this without you.